You open your laptop. The cursor blinks. You know exactly what you need to do, but somehow you don't. Instead, you check one notification, then another. Maybe you clean your desk, maybe you make coffee, maybe you convince yourself you'll start in 10 minutes. An hour disappears. And eventually, you think the same thing you always do. Why am I so lazy? But what if that's the wrong question? Because here's something strange. If you were actually lazy, you wouldn't suddenly find the energy to reorganize your room, spend an hour researching something random, or help a friend with their problems. You can put effort into plenty of things, just not this thing. So maybe this isn't laziness. Maybe your brain is avoiding something you can't see.
The biggest misunderstanding about procrastination is that people think they're avoiding a task. Most of the time, they're avoiding a feeling. Every task carries an emotion. Some feel exciting, some feel satisfying, and some quietly trigger something your brain would rather not experience. Fear, overwhelm, embarrassment, self-doubt, uncertainty. The task is just the doorway. The emotion is what's waiting behind it. Here's the part most people never notice. Every avoided task has a hidden sentence attached to it. The assignment isn't just an assignment. It's, what if I realize I'm not as smart as everyone else? Sending the email isn't just sending an email. It's, what if they judge me? Going to the gym isn't just exercising. It's, what if I still don't change? Cleaning your room isn't just cleaning. It's, I'll have to face how much I've been avoiding everything else. Those sentences happen so quickly that they don't even feel like thoughts. They just feel like resistance. So your brain does exactly what it's designed to do. It protects you. Not from the task, from the emotion attached to the task. That's why you suddenly feel an irresistible urge to do literally anything else. You scroll, you snack, you reorganize your folders. You watch one video. Not because those things matter more, but because they make the uncomfortable feeling disappear. For a little while. Psychologists call this emotional avoidance. Your brain isn't asking, is this important? It's asking, how quickly can I stop feeling this? And procrastination is often the fastest answer. The problem is, your brain learns from relief. The moment you avoid the task, the uncomfortable feeling goes away. Your brain thinks, perfect, that worked. So next time the same task appears, it wants to avoid it even faster. That's how procrastination becomes a habit. Not because you're lazy, because your brain has been practicing escape. Then something even worse happens. You stop saying, I'm avoiding this assignment. You start saying, I'm just a lazy person. That label changes everything. Now every unfinished task becomes proof. Every delay confirms the story. Until you forget that the story started with one uncomfortable feeling, not a personality flaw. So how do you actually stop this? Not by forcing yourself to be more disciplined, and not by waiting until you feel motivated. You have to interrupt the hidden sentence. The next time you catch yourself avoiding something, don't ask, how do I make myself do this? Ask, what sentence is hiding behind this task? Finish it. I'm avoiding this because if I do it, I'll fail. I'll look stupid. I'll realize how behind I am. I'll have to make a difficult decision. I'll disappoint someone. Most of the time, you'll discover the task was never the real problem. The sentence was. Once you can see it, do something even more important. Separate the task from the emotion. Instead of thinking, I can't study, try, I'm feeling anxious while studying. That sounds like a tiny difference, but psychologically, it's huge. One makes the emotion part of your identity. The other reminds you it's just an experience happening alongside the task. Now, change your goal. Don't try to finish everything. Don't even try to be productive. Your goal is simply to stay with the uncomfortable feeling a little longer than you normally would. Open the document. Read one paragraph. Write one sentence. Not because one sentence changes your life, but because you're teaching your brain something new, that the feeling isn't dangerous. Every time you stay instead of escaping, your brain updates its prediction. Maybe I don't need to protect us from this after all.
That's how the cycle starts to break. Not because the work became easier, because the emotion became less frightening. You'll still have days where you don't feel like doing the work. Everyone does. The difference is that you won't automatically believe that discomfort means you should leave. Because discomfort isn't always a stop sign. Sometimes it's just the feeling of your brain trying to keep you safe in situations where you don't actually need protection. So maybe you've been trying to solve the wrong problem. Maybe you've spent years fighting the task when the real battle was never the task to begin with. Laziness says, I don't want to do this. Avoidance says, I don't want to feel what this brings up. Those sound almost identical, but they lead to completely different solutions. The moment you stop running from the feeling, you'll be surprised how often the task quietly follows.